Oh, hell no.
People, for the most part, are born inherently violent.
You are inherently ignorant and stupid. Hi, do you see a black person behind here?
Population, and why do they commit 50% of violent crime?
Bitch, shut the up. Bitch, I'm fucking talking. Bitch, shut the up.
Spewing just because. Opening your mouth and the most vile racist breath is expelling. That's just what happened there. Racist male Karen calls black people inherently violent because he can, and he did. Let's break it down for you. Over policing of black communities, black Americans, 9.3 times as likely as whites to be homicide victims in 2020. American Indians, 4.3 times as likely. Latinx, 1.9 times as likely, based on age-adjusted figures. Since homicide is generally an intra-racial crime, these figures correspond to higher rates of homicide offending among these communities of color, which is attributable to spatially concentrated urban poverty resulting from long-standing and ongoing segregation, discrimination, and disinvestment. That's from the Sentencing Project. You can't just yell out some stupid numbers, right? And say, see, there it is, nothing else to see here. Everything is contextual, right? What's the history of this country? What's the history of policing? What's the history of privilege? All of that matters. And it irritates some people when you have to give a global, 360 view. But you do. You just do. Police officers' reliance on millions of minor traffic stops annually as a pretext to investigate drivers for criminal activity disproportionately impacts Black and Latinx drivers. Among those they pull over, police are more likely to search Black, 6.2%, and Latinx drivers, 9.2%, than whites, 3.6%. But police are often less likely to find drugs or weapons among the Black and Latinx drivers that they search compared to whites. Black and white Americans use illicit drugs at roughly similar rates, but about 1 in 4 people arrested for drug law violations are, we should probably just say it together, Black people. Black. The Blacks. Black people make up 14% of the US population. We must continue the lie at all costs. Black person is 5 times more likely to be stopped without just cause than a white person. A Black man is twice as likely to be stopped without just cause than a Black woman. 65% of Black adults have felt targeted because of their race. Similarly, about 35% of Latino and Asian adults have felt targeted because of race. Since 1991, the rate of violent crime in the US has fallen by about 20%, while the number of people in prison or jail, money, just follow the money, has risen by 50%. If African Americans and Hispanics were incarcerated at the same rates as whites, prison and jail populations would decline by almost 40%. Did you hear what I just said? I just say follow the money, and I meant it. This is a business, and we cannot not fill the beds, folks. Or is it cots? With overcrowding, I don't even know if everybody gets a bed these days. Outrageous. So the context, I don't have to tell you this. How close are you to being Dr. Elliot Morgan? You're so close. I don't have to tell you that you can't just throw out numbers. You want to know, let me guess, you want to know how the data was collected, how they decided to collect the data, what data was collected, and how the data was analyzed, right?
That is correct. And who benefits from these little factoids and statistics that get thrown out that these kids can then put in their pockets and deploy the second they see somebody very stupidly. I mean, I think it's pretty disgusting. I also think it speaks to like the power of right-wing media and how it's captured so many young men. And there's obviously structural racism. There's obviously instances, we see it on the show all of the time, where this stuff is incredibly real. But these kids listen to these like podcasters or whatever it is. They have not an ounce of curiosity past that to go, hey, how did this data get collected? Why why is it somehow confirming biases in me? Instead, they just go, okay, yep, this is reality. And they use it like some kind of a gotcha thing when they have no idea how any of this stuff actually works. It's
None.
incredibly frustrating. And it bums me out that so many young dudes are into this kind of crap.
They actually believe they are right. They're not just
Yeah.
being obnoxious. I mean, you can be two things, but they actually believe it. I can't tell you how many arguments I had. And I love to argue with my colleagues in the newsroom because they said so many things that were just outrageous.
Yep.
I
And
told them,
there's
don't
just,
ever come across the desk again. I won't read it. There's
Yep.
no such thing as black on black crime
right.
unless you want to talk about white on white crime,
Yeah.
elderly on elderly crime. I mean, it's so stupid. And you
There's
heard the statistic about the same rate.
the same.
Okay. Just stop the lie.
Yeah, it just doesn't support the narrative that I think it doesn't support the power hierarchies that a lot of these kids are born into, that they're terrified of losing. And bringing up a word like privilege makes you sound woke, but at the same time, they ride off it their entire lives. So it makes my blood kind of boil a little bit.
Yeah. I
But
met
I
a
will
J-
say they did the right thing when in response to him, which is just telling him to shut up and kind of making fun of him. I think making
Yeah.
fun of these dudes is one of the best things you can possibly do because they're not going to listen to reason anyway.
Yeah. If this is a carnival, you're in the show. You're in the show. You're the entertainment. Who knew?